with the idea to bring NH-1 in its artillery firing range. Now, News9 is honoring the bravehearts of the Kargil War. Let's cut right across to the event. News9's event honoring the bravehearts, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and a very warm welcome to News9 Kargil Honours 2024. This event is a commemoration of the 25th anniversary of the Kargil War, a tribute to the valor and dedication of the Indian Armed Forces in the 1999 war. Kargil War was thrust on India and fought between two nuclear-armed nations from the 3rd of May to the 26th of July 1999. The war was fought in one of the world's most treacherous terrains at an extremely high altitude and in sub-zero temperatures. It began when the Pakistan Army sent its heavily armed soldiers across the line of control. Our bravehearts climbed heights of over 10,000 feet in biting cold and icy winds, lungs gasping for air. They faced steel splinters from enemy artillery and engaged the enemy in ferocious hand-to-hand combat. The Indian Armed Forces prevailed over all odds and delivered victory on the 26th of July that year. On 26 July 2024, it will be 25 years since the Kargil War, when 527 of our bravehearts laid down their lives. It's a story of how the Indian Army engaged with the enemy, fought them, and threw the last intruder out. With Kargil Vijay Divas just days away, join us in saluting the courage of the Kargil veterans and the heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice for the motherland. Today, News9 Kargil Honours will felicitate those who ensured victory for India at the Kargil heights. The exceptional individuals, their families, and the support provided by the defence industry that enables our armed forces to protect India's borders day and night and in the most challenging terrain. News9 is honoured to recognize the contribution and sacrifice of the men and women in uniform with the Kargil Honours. All right, may I now invite on stage the Managing Director and CEO of TV9 Network, Mr. Barun Das, to deliver the opening address on the occasion.
Thank you, Neha. Our Chief Guest, General Anil Chauhan, CDS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome. Either I will come back after hoisting the tricolour, or I'll come back wrapped in it, but I'll be back for sure. These famous words symbolize a sense of confidence and security as India now celebrates the 25th year of Kargil War victory. It was Captain Vikram Batra who uttered these words to his friends at the onset of the war. Captain Batra was one of the 527 national heroes whose ultimate sacrifice made the Kargil War victory possible. A peacenik and a statesman at heart, the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee valued peace above war. He ventured on the historic Lahore bus yatra to script the Lahore Declaration, de-escalating tension post the subcontinent going nuclear, and how Pakistan responded. The Pakistan army unleashed its evil shadow to destroy Atalji's Lahore Accord. The PM didn't budge and launched Operation Vijay. The Kargil War, to my mind, has reminded us of many important lessons. First and foremost, that India will never ever be the aggressor. It will always preach peace in letter and spirit. As our former poet, Prime Minister Atalji famously said, we want peace, but it cannot be one-sided. And thus the second lesson, that India shall never lower the guard for the enemy who doesn't play by the rule book. We also learned that we believe in one India, like a precise and well-coordinated effort across defense forces will always deliver the desired results. And finally, we learned that wars are not fought merely on the battlefield. They are fought as much in the diplomatic arena. These lessons continue to define today's India, holding the light to the world which is facing uncertainty on several counts. With war raging on two fronts, threatening to engulf the world at large. Back home, I believe India, being a predominantly young nation, must imbibe the Kargil heroes' spirit of patriotism. Today, the young are restless and often tend to be indifferent. To my mind, India's contemporary war heroes are the true inspiration for them. I'm happy that we have a national war memorial now in place, inaugurated by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji in February 2019. The memorial attempts to involve a deep and moving experience and serves as a symbol of inspiration for future generations. Today, as we celebrate the 25th Kargil Vijay Divas, we at TV9 Group have gathered here to pay homage to the bravehearts and their families. I bow my head to the Kargil war heroes and thousands of others in the defense forces who secure India 24/7. News9 Kargil Honors, a TV9 and Salute magazine initiative, is an expression of our indebtedness for our defense forces. We are truly privileged to have amidst us the Chief of Defense Staff, General Anil Chauhan, as a chief guest. A highly decorated, distinguished soldier himself, General Chauhan is also an eminent author with several landmark books to his credit. Thank you, sir. Before I leave the stage, I am reminded of this quote at the National War Memorial. When you go home, tell them of us and say, for their tomorrow, we gave our today. Thank you, General Saab, for joining us today. I salute you and our defense forces on behalf of TV9 Network and the entire media fraternity. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barundas, for that address. I'd now like to invite on stage Mr. Baba Kalyani, Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat Forge, for his address on this special occasion.
Chief of Defense Staff, General Anil Chauhan, senior officials from the armed forces, present and retired, the Kargil War veterans, family members of the Kargil brave heroes, the organizers of the event, Dr. Maruf Raza, Barun Das, CEO of TV9, Sandeep, and the entire News9 and salute fraternities. Ladies and gentlemen, I really consider it a great honor to be invited to participate in this event commemorating 25 years of the Kargil Vijay Divas and honoring war veterans and their families of the bravehearts who made this supreme sacrifice for our nation. Over the last 25 years, we have been observing Kargil Vijay Divas every year on the 26th of July to rekindle the pride and valor of the soldiers who took part in Operation Vijay. I still vividly remember the summer of 1999 when the nation was engulfed with a sudden attack on the northern front. Those were the days of coalition governments. India was just about recovering from the sanctions imposed by the Western nations for carrying out our nuclear tests. Post the liberalization and privatization and era of globalization, the Indian economy was aspiring to pitch itself as a major investment destination and traverse on a path of high economic growth and trajectory. But just as we were beginning to take off, the country was aghast with the surprise attack by our Western neighbors. The nation's confidence was put to test. We were all witness to the courage and bravery of our soldiers, the valor and the strength of our armed forces that demonstrated the country's determination and fortitude to withstand such terrible acts performed by our enemy forces, including the recent events. On behalf of Indian industry and the entire Kalyani Group fraternity, I take this opportunity to offer my gratitude, respect, and a firm salute to you all, our heroes. The Kargil War has also had a major imprint on most companies engaged in defense manufacturing in India. Rising to the call of the nation and in response to the call from the Indian Ministry of Defense, we converted one of our automotive forging lines, this was in 1999, to meet the emergent requirements of the Indian Army to manufacture and supply 50,000 shells for the Bofors guns. After the war, when we were reflecting on what transpired, I personally couldn't fathom that despite the huge capability that we have in our country, we were still heavily dependent on imported platforms, including artillery guns, rockets, logistics, equipment, etc. Over the course of subsequent years, as you are all aware, with successive reforms in 2002 and 2004, and of course the major reforms made by the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Modi in 2014, 2015 and 2016, the industry received a significant boost led by the whole Make in India and the whole Atmanirbhar initiative. Inspired by our armed forces, guided and hand-holded by our Defense Research and Development Organization, the DRDO, and with the determination and strength of our military capabilities, today we are at the forefront of designing, manufacturing world-class defense platforms, and we are today an exporter of artillery guns. General Chauhan, the war veterans, the military strategists will all agree with me that artillery was the linchpin in India's Kargil victory 25 years ago. Of course, today's artillery guns are very different. They are software-driven, they are autonomous, but the best thing is they're all made in India with 100% indigenous product. The strength of India's military capabilities has been a key barometer to measure the strength of its economies. Most developed countries around the world today have a strong defense manufacturing industry. Some years ago, I had shared a book with General Chauhan about how the US built its military capability during World War II. It was just amazing. Historically, the United States, Japan, Germany, Korea, and more recently China have all transformed their economies towards high growth trajectories by producing innovations and technologies and products. And most of these innovations were fundamentally designed for military applications. As India aspires to become a fully developed nation in the next 20 to 25 years, a Viksit Bharat, as the Honorable Prime Minister says, and get into the Amrit Kal, we expect our military capabilities will also grow exponentially, as a result of which our country will gain in global respect and standing and stature. Self-reliance or Atmanirbharta in strategic sectors like aerospace and defense shall be one of the critical levers of realizing the vision of a Shresth Bharat or a new India. Jai Hind and thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your address. I'd now like to once again invite on stage Mr. Barun Das, the MD and CEO of TV9 Network. And ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to welcome our chief guest. Please put your hands together for the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan. Welcome, sir. Yes, sure. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us and gracing the occasion with your presence. We are truly honored to have you in our midst today. All right, now that memento has been presented to our chief guest, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the much awaited address by our chief guest, General Anil Chauhan. A big round of applause, please. All yours, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of honor and great privilege for me to speak on the 25th anniversary, the Rajat Jayanti of the Kargil War. I see a lot of veterans who participated in the war amongst us. I see a lot of next of kin of all those who made the supreme sacrifice during the war, and still those who actually supported this national endeavor from outside. We recognize the invaluable contribution of each one of you. My salutations to all of you. We are indeed indebted to each and every one of you. Most of the officers and men who participated in the war have actually been honored by the government by distinguished and gallantry awards. Today's event is a recognition of their services and is being conferred by the citizens of India, I would say, the informed citizens. And that makes this particular event very, very special. My thanks to TV9 and their CEO, Mr. Barun Das, and others who are involved in organizing this event, including Dr. Maruf Raza. In fact, the creation of this post of CDS was one of the recommendations of the committee that reviewed the war. The appointment of CDS, in some manner, that way, is a progeny of the war. As a CDS, I feel both honored and humbled at the same time as I stand before you all. War, or for that matter, any war actually, is a very, very important politico-military event in the history of nation. It has the potential actually to change the destiny of a nation and its people forever. The people, its territories, and its ideology. Hence, I believe that it's for this reason that the story of all wars needs to be recalled time and again and retold multiple number of times. The memory of the sacrifices made by the soldiers must become part of our national folklore, as indeed it had become during the Kargil War. The saga, bravery, and fortitude must continue to inspire future generations of the youth as well as soldiers who join the Indian Armed Forces. I am very glad that we are here to rekindle those memories before they fade away from the nation's minds and consciousness. I must thank the organizers for this thoughtful gesture and well-organized Bharat Gallantry Awards. Let me talk about a few heroes who are there amongst us. We have in the audience Jal Mahendra Puri, ex-GOC of 8th Mountain Division, the architect of a victory over Tololing, .5140, and Tiger Hill, which helped, in his own words, turn the tide. The names of 18 Grenadiers, 2 Rajrif, 13 Jackrif, 18 Garhwal, the units that participated in the Daraz sector, are etched in a collective memory of all of us. We have amongst us Jal Y.K. Joshi, the commanding officer of 13 Jackrif that time, the unit which gave that byline actually, the Dil Mange More of Captain Vikram Batra. We have Air Marshal P.S. Ahluwalia, AOC Gwalior. That particular base had Mirages, which were subsequently modified at a very short time to deliver their arsenal on those icy pinnacles of Kargil. We have Brigadier Devendra Singh, ex-commander of 17th Infantry Brigade. The brigade was responsible for recapturing Batalik sector before the declaration of ceasefire, where actually Captain Manoj Pandey of my regiment's 11th Gurkha Rifles earned his Paramveer Chakra. We also have amongst us Colonel Rajiv Kumar, ex-CEO of 18 Grenadiers. I was there with these officers and men of this particular unit on 3rd of July when they were celebrating the recapture of Tiger Hill a couple of days ago. We have several other distinguished veterans present here, Brigadier Umesh Singh Bawa and many more, who fought valiantly beyond the call of the duty during the war, maintaining the highest traditions of the Indian Armed Forces. We are also honored to have amongst us Veer Naris and mothers of some of those brave hearts of the Kargil War who made the supreme sacrifice in the line of duty. We are all honored by your presence here today, sir. Apart from recalling the memories of the war, I believe it's also important to look at the aftermath of the war and draw useful lessons for the future. We must not repeat the same mistake. The lessons learned by shedding blood must remain ingrained with the military. Other instruments of national power dealing with security and defense of the country must also take note of those lessons. Today, we have the hindsight to understand the war better. It's been 25 years since we fought the Pakistanis intruders on those icy heights. Accurate recording of history is important, and any misconceptions and myths that grow around them, those military events, must be discouraged. To learn lessons from this war, from this experience is important, but it's more important to learn the right lessons from this war. The importance of Kargil War extends beyond the immediate military outcomes. It was a conflict that underscored the need for a robust and responsive defense strategy. The Kargil conflict highlighted the significance of maintaining vigilance and preparedness for safeguarding our borders. It also emphasized the importance of public and international diplomacy. A mention of that was made by Barun, a strategy which was then used effectively, not only to neutralize the narratives being created by the inimical adversaries, but also to gain global popular support for that particular war. Kargil War was a limited war. It was the first limited war fought on this subcontinent, and it was fought under a nuclear overhang. Another mention was made of this. Both nations had demonstrated the nuclear weapon capability in 1988. Both these terms were new to India, to the Indian Armed Forces, and to the Indian subcontinent. There are lessons to be drawn from it. In my view, there will always be more than a casual connect between limited war, full-scale conflict, and nuclear deterrence. A somewhat similar kind of a scenario right now is being played in the conflict in Eastern Europe. Let me talk about intelligence. It is said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. It is said actually in the context of protecting democracy, but it's even relevant for the military. I'm not sure if we could have picked up those small tidbits of information that were available at that time to build the larger picture. We sometimes remain too focused on the immediate and easy tasks that we ignore the bigger picture. We miss the woods for the trees. Counterinsurgency operations in the Kashmir Valley was a challenge that made us forget to see what was happening beyond the great Himalayan range. Similarly, military leadership actually of today must have the ability to have a 360-degree kind of an outlook towards the threats and challenges that face the nation. A lot has been written about this war, about the lack of suboptimal jointmanship during this particular war. We have taken a bit long to promote jointness and jointmanship. This is one of the tasks actually interested to my appointment at the CDS. And actually, I'm happy to inform you all that we have moved beyond jointness and we are actually working towards promoting a joint culture which is slightly distinct from the culture of individual service, a Navy, Army, or an Air Force culture. Integrating the three services into multiple domains is another success which we've been able to achieve in some manner. We are also trying to create joint structures for operations that would separate out force generation from force application. And that will be two distinct kind of fields. Another thing which we actually saw during the Kargil War was the cognitive part of the war. It was the first war which brought the war actually into our bedrooms. It caught the nation's imagination as well as attention. It also brought out the importance of free and open media that existed on our side of the state, that is in India, and on the other side of the border where it was state-sponsored media. It made a big difference during the Kargil War and will make a bigger difference in the future wars. With constant battle of narratives attempting to shape perceptions across the world, there is no denying that information domain has emerged as another way to a key battle victories. Let me talk about the future warfare. We've spoken about the Kargil War and the lessons it has given to us. While we discuss and draw lessons from the past, we must look into the future, as no war in future is going to be fought as the last one. And Indian Armed Forces must be prepared for the same. War and warfare is evolving at a very, very rapid pace. Its character as well as nature is both changing very rapidly because of rapid transformation in technology and ongoing geopolitical flux. Both are following a very non-linear and unpredictable path. We can say that we are actually now on the cusp of a third revolution in military affairs, and the Indian Armed Forces must plan to enter this particular revolution with military affairs along with the advanced militaries of the world. The nature of military and non-military security challenges bring to fore the imperative need for the armed forces to be prepared for multi-domain and multi-spectrum challenges. There is an inescapable requirement of seamless integration across all domains: land, sea, air, space, information, and cyberspace. An infusion of interoperable systems among various branches of the armed forces. That, I think, will lay the basic foundation for us to be prepared for warfare of the future. Multiple initiatives are being taken by the armed forces to maintain an edge over our adversary. Improvements in our warfighting doctrines, strategy, and concepts as per perceived threats have been enunciated. Capability development to include infrastructure and robust operational logistics is being attempted in a very progressive kind of manner through ingenious means to build a future-ready armed forces. Multiple reorganization and restructuring initiatives are going on, enhancing the warfighting efficiency and effectiveness. Let me conclude by actually talking about the Kargil War once again. Pakistan always wanted to get even with us after the defeat in 1971. The preemptive occupation of Siachen Glacier by us in 1984 was another humiliation which Pakistan suffered. It launched Operation Kargil to redeem its operations in Kargil to redeem its honor, but clearly all its effort fell short of its aim. Like in past, it had overbid its hand. The proxy war that we witness today is a continuation of the same ideology and mindset that has not changed, and hence we must, as Oliver Cromwell has said, trust in God, but keep your powder dry. Kargil War, which has become synonymous to the resoluteness, selflessness, fierce courage and determination of our armed forces, inspires and collectively exhorts all of us to focus towards the future threats and challenges. We must maintain a high degree of operational preparedness to face these kind of challenges. Towards the end, once again, I'd like to thank the organizers for organizing this Bharat Gallantry Award ceremony. My good wishes for this particular event. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for that address. A very inspiring one indeed, as we observe the 25th anniversary of the Kargil War and felicitate the heroes who helped India win that war. All right, let's now move on to our next segment, the presentation of the News9 Salute Kargil Honours. If I may request Mr. Barun Das, our MD and CEO, to join us on stage once again and join our chief guest, General Anil Chauhan, in presenting these honours. All right, let's get on with it. Ladies and gentlemen, the first News9 Salute Kargil honour is being conferred on Lieutenant General Mohinder Puri. Lieutenant General Puri was commissioned into the 5th Battalion of the 3rd Gorkha Rifles in June 1966. Under his command of the famous 8th Mountain Division, his formation spearheaded the Army's offensive in the Kargil sector and restored the sanctity of the line of control by capturing Toluling, Tiger Hill and Point 4875, which then became household names during the war. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Mohinder Puri. Sir, for being here in our midst and gracing this occasion. The next Kargil honour is being conferred today on Lieutenant General Yogesh Kumar Joshi. Lieutenant General Joshi led the 13th Battalion of the JAK Rifles in Dras during the Kargil War. His battalion launched 4 attacks, the most successful of which was on Point 4875, which is now called Batra Top in honor of Captain Vikram Batra. The unit was decorated with 37 gallantry awards. The battalion was also conferred with the title of the bravest of the brave. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Joshi. Sir. Our next Kargil honour recipient ladies and gentlemen, is Air Marshal P.S. Ahluwalia. As the Air Officer Commanding of Air Force Station Gwalior during the Kargil operations, Air Marshal Ahluwalia, then Air Commodore, undertook several trial runs on the Mirages, which were instrumental in the successful use of these aircraft in Kargil's mountainous terrain. I request Mr. Barun Das and the Chief of Defence Staff to present this honour to Air Marshal P.S. Ahluwalia. Thank you, sir. It is indeed an honor for us to have you in our midst today. The next Kargil honor is being conferred on Brigadier Devinder Singh. Brigadier Singh commanded the 70 Infantry Brigade in the Batalik sector during the Kargil War. He led the critical battle for Point 5203 and also the assaults on the Jabbar complex, one of the most difficult campaigns during the war. At one point of time, his 70 Infantry Brigade had 11 battalions under it against the usual 3. Brigadier Devinder Singh, if we could please have you on stage, sir. Thank you so much for joining us today, sir. Our next Kargil honor recipient, ladies and gentlemen, is Brigadier Umesh Bawa. Brigadier Bawa commanded 17 Jat during the Kargil War and was awarded the Veer Chakra for the operations. His unit was tasked with capturing the Pimple complex, part of Point 4875 in Mashko Valley. Could we please have on stage the recipient of this honor, Brigadier Umesh Bawa. Your presence, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next category of honors. The next News9 Salute Kargil honor recipient is Colonel Rajiv Kumar. As the commanding officer of 18 Grenadiers, Colonel Rajiv Kumar saw action in the Mashko Valley in July 1999. The battalion was tasked with capturing Point 4875, part of the Pimple complex located at over 16,000 feet. Colonel Rajiv Kumar was there when 18 Grenadiers took Tiger Hill. The battalion was conferred with 52 honors, including a Param Veer Chakra, 2 Mahavir Chakra, 6 Veer Chakra, several Sena medals and commendation card of the Chief of the Army Staff. A big round of applause for Colonel Rajiv Kumar. Thank you, sir, for being in our midst today. The next Kargil honor recipient today is 5 Para Regiment. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 para regiment conducted high-altitude operations to reclaim Indian territory occupied by enemy forces during the Kargil War. The regiment was actively involved in the Batalik sector. It exhibited great courage and tenacity and was awarded the Chief of Army Staff Unit citation. They fought one of the toughest operations during the Kargil War. May I invite on stage Brigadier Kariappa to receive the honor on behalf of 5 Para Regiment. Very much, Brigadier Kariappa, for being here amidst us. Ladies and gentlemen, the next Kargil honor is being conferred on Captain Yashika Tyagi. Captain Tyagi was the first female army officer to be posted in the high altitude area of Leh in 1997 while serving in the logistics wing. In 1999, when she was called to serve in the Kargil War, she was pregnant with her second child. After the war, she was awarded the Kargil Star OP Vijay Medal for her service and became the first lady officer from the logistics wing of the Indian Army to be a part of the Kargil War. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Captain Yashika Tyagi. Ma'am, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you in our midst. On that note, I would like to thank Mr. Barun Das for joining our chief guest here on stage. But General Chauhan, sir, we will request you to please stay on. And I will now request Mr. Hemant Sharma, whole-time director of the TV9 network, to join our chief guest here on stage to present the next set of Kargil honors. It is time now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor the Kargil heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice and laid down their lives while fighting for the country. The first Kargil honor in this category is being conferred on Major C.B. Dwivedi. Major Dwivedi's unit, the 315 Field Regiment, under the command of Colonel N.A. Subramanian, was the first artillery unit to be deployed in Dras in the initial phase of the Kargil War. The 315 Field Regiment was responsible for supporting multiple operations for other regiments that went on to capture Tololing, Point 5140, Blacktooth, Tiger Hill and Point 4875 in the Dras-Mashko Valley from the intruders. During one such operation, Major Dwivedi was at the gunner's position and firing at the enemies when a shell landed right next to him. His arm was hit, shrapnel entered his body, he was bleeding profusely, yet he continued firing and directing other guns under his command till his very last breath. Major Dwivedi was killed in action. His wife, Mrs. Bhavna Dwivedi, is here to receive the honor. Their daughter Neha is also here with us. If we could please have the ladies up on stage. applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the family of Major Dwivedi, a true hero who laid down his life while fighting for the country. The Kargil honor in this category is also being conferred on Captain Nike Zakuo Kingaruse. Captain Kingaruse was a junior commander in the Rajputana Rifles and deployed in the Dras sector during the Kargil War. On the 28th of June 1999, Captain Kingaruse was assigned the task to evict Pakistani soldiers holding a machine gun post at Black Rock in the Dras sector and to capture the area. He killed 2 infiltrators with his rifle and eliminated another 2 enemies in a hand-to-hand combat, despite having been shot in the abdomen. Captain Kingaruse made the supreme sacrifice and went on to become the first and only recipient of Mahavir Chakra from the Army Service Corps. His brother, Vokatuli Kingaruse, is here with us. I request him to please come up on stage and accept this honor. Gentlemen, the brother of Captain Kingaruse, a real hero who made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Our next set of honors are for some of the doyens of India's defense manufacturing industry. The first Kargil honor in this category is being conferred on Mr. Baba Kalyani, Chairman and Managing Director of Bharat Forge Limited. During the Kargil War, the army was forced to abort certain missions due to heavy casualties. It then decided to deploy Bofors guns to destroy Pakistani outposts at various vantage points. The strategy paid off, but the army realized it would soon run out of ammunition to feed the howitzers. Bharat Forge Group got the emergency order to make 1 lakh shells, and the Kalyani Group's flagship firm, Bharat Forge, took up this challenge. The automotive giant supplied more than 1 lakh shells in a short period of time, and this helped turn the tide in India's favor. And for this, we have presented this honor to Mr. Kalyani. So thank you very much for being here with us. The next recipient of News9 Salute Kargil honor is Mr. Sukharan Singh, CEO and MD of Tata Advanced Systems. I beg your pardon. May I please invite on stage Mr. Shailesh Dhamija, who is representing Tata Advanced Systems here. The aerospace and defense company of Tata Group, Tata Advanced Systems, is one of the largest defense and aerospace companies in the private sector in India. It undertakes multiple strategic projects for the Indian Armed Forces and defense development agencies. A big round of applause for Mr. Shailesh Dhamija, who is here on behalf of Tata Advanced Systems. And last but not the least, the News9 Kargil honor in this category is being conferred on Mr. Arun Ramchandani, Head of L&T Defense. Mr. Ramchandani has worked extensively on the design and development of critical equipment and new products for the defense and aerospace business segment. L&T's defense solutions encompass land-based weapon delivery systems, air defense and artillery systems, naval weapons launch systems with fire control systems, communication, avionics and missile systems. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Arun Ramchandani. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the presentation of News 9 Kargil Honours. But may I now request, sir, you will still need you on stage for just another few moments, sir. If I could now request General Jagatbir, editor of Salute magazine, to please join Mr. Hemant Sharma and our chief guest here on stage. And on that note, I will request our chief guest, General Anil Chauhan, to release the latest edition of Salute magazine, which is dedicated to the Kargil War and its heroes. May I request Mr. Barun Das also to join us on stage? Magazine dedicated to the Kargil War and our Kargil heroes. Thank you, General Jagatbir. Thank you, Mr. Hemant Sharma. Thank you, Mr. Barun Das. On that note, I'd like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, General Anil Chauhan, for making the time to be with us here today to honor our Kargil heroes. Sir, thank you so much. It's been an honor to have you in our midst today. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if we could have a huge round of applause for our chief guest, General Anil Chauhan. Thanks also to our viewers on News 9 Live for tuning in. Here's an important programming note. You can watch this entire show on News 9 Live and the world's first OTT news app, News 9 Plus, on the 25th of July. Don't forget to tune in.
Kargil was a war thrust on India. It was fought between two nuclear-armed nations, India and Pakistan, between May and July 1999. It was fought in one of the world's most treacherous terrains, with extreme high altitude and in sub-zero temperatures. Right from the word go, this war, more than any other, is a study of contrasts. The war was planned by Pakistan Army Chief General Musharraf and his generals. But such was the cloak of secrecy that even the Pakistan Air Force and Navy were kept in the dark. Pakistani soldiers from the Northern Light Infantry were disguised as Kashmiri militants. Operation Koh-e-Paima, or OP-KP, was a bold move. 4 battalions of the Northern Light Infantry and one from the Sindh Regiment infiltrated up to 14 kilometers deep across the LOC on foot. It was only in May of 1999 that the Indian Army detected their presence. The Pakistani intrusion was first detected by some shepherds on the 3rd of May 1999. The capture of Tololing on the 13th of June confirmed the Indian Army's suspicions. They now had proof that they were fighting Pakistan Army soldiers, not militants. OP-KP was a repeat of Operation Gibraltar, which had triggered off the 1965 war.